Welcome to Mr. V Teaching Math. In this session, we're going to be looking at broken line graphs. Now, we have learned a couple of different types of graphs before. These two types of graph, the bar graph and the pictograph, these are useful for comparing different types of data. For instance, comparing apples to bananas and different people who scored points. Broken line graphs are good for demonstrating change in data over time. So I've chosen to demonstrate the change in the cost of computer memory per megabyte from 1957 to today. Now there's some problems with this set of data, and here's the data I'm using. I've found elsewhere, and I'm going to use 10-year intervals, which is not a good choice, as you'll see in a little while. So, using the data I have, we're going to start at the year 1957. Now, I could go 10-year intervals on each square. Again, I'm going to have to decide what kind of scale I want here. Just like I had to decide on a scale here, I need to decide on a scale that fits here. I'm looking at a 50-year period, and I don't have 50 squares. So I think I'm going to do 5 years per square. Let me think, what would that cause if I did 5 years per square? This was 1957, and we end up with 1967, 1977, 1987, 1997, 2007. That's not too bad. Although, it would probably be better to actually go wider. But I'm just going to go with 5s for now. So this line right here, and notice I'm drawing on top of the line. That makes your work easier. That's 1957. We're going to make this 1967, that's 1977, 1987, 1997, 2007. Now that's pretty tight, and you have to realize, while I'm not breaking any rules in terms of I'm doing it correctly, making them so tight is going to exaggerate certain aspects of the graph. It would actually be better, probably, to stretch it out farther. But I'm not going to right now, because I've already started. So, in 1957, 1 megabyte of memory cost 411,041,792. Now, I went up by 20 millions on my chart here. So I need to put a dot at about where that would be. This is 420 million, so it's going to be just a little bit higher than halfway. That is the cost per megabyte of memory in 1957. Now in 1967, it had dropped to $2 million. This is going up by millions. 1 square is 20 million. 2 million is somewhere around here. In 1977, it had dropped to $36,000, somewhere down here. 1987, $176. 1997, $4.63. And in 2007, 8 cents. So, this broken line graph isn't going to look very good. You see, I have to connect the dots now. And you're going to notice very little actual change in these final dots. I did my best to actually demonstrate the change. But the reality is that these numbers are so tiny that I have an interval of 20 million and I'm supposed to put 8 cents on there? And that's really hard to do. What's more, there's actually quite a few intervening steps in here. So this is a broken line graph. You put the dots on and you connect the dots. Better ones would be much more zigzaggy than this one. And in fact, I really should have included more intervals. I went by 10-year intervals, and there's quite a bit of variation between here and there and there that could be drawn if I did a different style of graph. But if I really want to demonstrate the enormous change from the $411 million per megabyte all the way down to here, I'd have to make a much bigger graph than what I've got. But this is how to create a broken line graph.